Gatwick cuts summer breakouts after staff dearths. Gatwick Airport is reducing the number of breakouts during the peak summer period because of staff dearths. The number of diurnal breakouts will be cut to 825 in July and 850 in August, down from 900 in former times. It comes after the government and controllers wrote to airlines telling them to ensure their summer calendars were deliverable. Knockouts of thousands of passengers have been hit by cancellations and detainments at UK airfields in recent weeks. Gatwick said it had taken the decision following a review of its operations, to help passengers witness a further dependable and more standard of service. The field said it had signed 400 new staff to help passengers through security checks this summer, and further new rookies would start soon. But the field's review set up numerous companies that the field still had a severe lack of staff, and if the issue wasn't addressed, passengers could witness ranges, detainments, and cancellations. Why are so numerous breakouts being cancelled? Stuart Wingate, the field's principal superintendent, said that during the week of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, a number of companies operating at the field plotted because of staff dearths. By taking decisive action now, we aim to help the ground instructors and also our airlines to more match their flying programs with their available coffers, he said. It's not clear when or indeed if airlines will cancel their breakouts, following Gatwick's advertisement. Mr. Wingate said, the vast majority of breakouts over the summer will operate as normal. EasyJet said it was apprehensive of the capacity cap blazoned by Gatwick Airport and was reviewing the details. We anticipate to be suitable to accommodate the majority of guests should their flight be affected by the cap, it said. We honor the need for Gatwick Airport to do this, so each airline can give dependable services for their guests. Ryanair said it did not have any plans to cancel breakouts from Gatwick, adding Gatwick should be looking to the airlines who are formerly making mass cancellations across the UK for these cuts. Meanwhile, Rory Boland from the Consumer Group Which said that, while it may have been sensible to reduce breakouts now, it clearly was not sensible to make this advertisement without first agreeing with airlines which breakouts would be cancelled. Trip expert Simon Calder told the BBC the whole assiduity is stretched, especially ground instructors and the airlines. This is each about avoiding the scenes of chaos at airfields and actually making sure that, say, 95% of people are travelling, he said. Of course, that is illegal on the 5 who aren't, he added. Other airfields including Luton, Liverpool, Birmingham, and the group that runs Manchester, Stansted, and East Midlands told the BBC they had no plans to reduce their number of breakouts. Heathrow has formerly worked with airlines to limit passenger figures at the busiest times of day, with some breakouts tallied or cancelled. British Airways has cancelled 10 of its summer schedule. Can you get compensation if your flight is cancelled? Still, you have the right to either a full refund or a relief flight, if your flight is cancelled. And that different flight doesn't need to be with the same carrier, it can be a volition, as long it flies on the same day, says Julia Lobu, CEO of Advantage Travel Partnership. Still, it'll reimburse you, if you and the airline cannot agree on a new flight. Still, you may also be entitled to compensation, but only if the airline is at fault, if the flight was cancelled with 14 days or lower notice. Still, you are entitled to compensation, but if it's the field, if it's a direct result of the airline. It's not clear when airlines will advertise any cancellations caused by Gatwick's decision, but Mrs. Lobu says the advance notice should reduce the dislocation. What are my rights if my flight is cancelled? Further, 150 breakouts across the UK were cancelled during the week of the Platinum Jubilee, as people tried to take advantage of the 4-day weekend. Airlines also suffered severe dislocation during the half-term academy vacation and during Easter, egging justifications from companies including British Airways, TUI, and EasyJet. The aeronautics assiduity made thousands of workers spare during the epidemic, and numerous have yet to be replaced, despite a shaft in demand for trips. Following a surge of cancellations and detainments at airfields, the Department of Transport and the Civil Aviation Authority wrote to airlines telling them to review their schedules and to cancel breakouts that couldn't be delivered at the foremost possibility. Downing Street 8 Gatwick's advertisement on Friday, with a spokesperson saying the move would give certainty for passengers ahead of time. What checks do field staff need? Security checks mean it can take longer for airfields to retain staff, compared to other diligence. At an administrative commission this week, Richard Moriarty, Principal Superintendent of the Civil Aviation Authority, said there were 2 checks blown by the CAA and government mates, and 1 by the employers. Mr. Moriarty said the reversal times for the first set of checks were as good, if not better than they were pandemic. But he said there were blockages in the checks done by employers, which include 5 times worth of employment history. Aviation Minister Robert Courts said changes by the government would make the process easier for employers, although maybe more in the medium term. But it's a good illustration of hearkening to the sector, and acting and delivering on the effects they have asked for, he said. EasyJet says most passengers will fly on listed days as Gatwick cuts capacity. Field indicted of scarifying airline guests after limiting breakouts to 825 a day in July and 850 in August. EasyJet has claimed it'll get the vast majority of its passengers down this summer on the day they reserved after Gatwick was indicted of scarifying airline guests by publicizing capacity cuts. Breakouts presently on trade and listed will exceed the new limits on nearly 1 in 2 days across July and August at London's alternate field, suggesting about 500 cancellations in aggregate. Airlines said they were still reviewing schedules and couldn't be sure how the enforced cancellations would affect them, leaving numerous reserved holidaymakers uncertain over their trip plans. A couple seated on deck chairs enjoy the view of Brighton. UK vacation bookings smash as Britons suppose doubly about passages abroad. Read more. The cap will be exceeded on at most days around the launch of the Academy leaves in late July, with breakouts presently listed to peak around 25th of July, according to data from the Critics Serum. Still, only about 14 farther departures may need to be cancelled out of further than 400 due that day. In the once a month, EasyJet has formerly still cancelled nearly 100 breakouts that were due to depart from Gatwick in the first week of the Academy leaves, according to data from Aeronautics Judges OG. The move was blazoned by Gatwick on Friday to attempt to head off further chaos and last nanosecond cancellations after hundreds of breakouts were scrapped at late notice during the half-term by airlines. Gatwick said it was limiting breakouts to 825 a day in July and 850 in August to force airlines into more predictable and dependable flight programs for the summer leaves when staffing issues would not be resolved at numerous aeronautics companies. While controllers and business groups have called for further certainty and prompted airlines to cancel before rather than risk further fermentation for passengers, consumer groups criticized the running of the advertisement. Which criticized the drip feeding for fueling further alarm. Rory Boland, the Which? Trip editor, said it clearly wasn't sensible to make this advertisement without first agreeing with airlines operating from Gatwick which breakouts would be cancelled. Passengers with passages reserved are now in fear about whether their flight will be one of those disintegrated. The field should have worked with airlines to confirm and communicate all changes to guests first, as this drip feeding of information is monstrously harmful. An EasyJet prophet said given the high frequentness of our services to and from Gatwick, we anticipate to be suitable to accommodate the maturity of guests whose breakouts are affected by the cap. British Airways said like other airlines, we're working nearly with Gatwick Field to ensure our guests can continue to travel with certainty. Ground running, including check heft, aircraft reversal and baggage running, remains a huge area of concern, with outsourcing companies floundering to serve airlines at airfields similar as Gatwick and Manchester. The Department for Transport and the Civil Aviation Authority told the assiduity this week to ensure that breakouts on trade were deliverable, and called on airfields to set up working groups with airlines and ground instructors to minimize the threat of summer dislocation. John Grant of OG said that the Gatwick cap reflected a process that was underway as airlines similar to EasyJet took stock airlines are proactively cancelling breakouts. Gatwick's advertisement is a reflection of action formerly being taken. Grant said that many passengers should see being bookings affected by the field's move now, but added that what happens beyond then's at the mercy of COVID and other events. A prophet for Manchester and Stansted Airfield said that they would not be following suit. Thousands of Heathrow breakouts were emotively cancelled by BA in April through to the end of the summer to ensure adaptability, as it came clear that labor dearths and a tailback in security concurrences for new hires were causing problems throughout the assiduity. We have a small favour to ask. Millions are turning to The Guardian for open, independent, quality news every day, and compendiums in 180 countries around the world now support us financially. We believe everyone deserves access to information that's predicated on wisdom and verity, and analysis embedded in authority and integrity. That's why we made a different choice to keep our reporting open for all compendiums, anyhow of where they live or what they can go to pay. This means further people can be better informed, united, and inspired to take meaningful action. In these dangerous times, a verity-seeking global news organization like The Guardian is essential. We've no shareholders or billionaire possessors, meaning our journalism is free from marketable and political influence. This makes us different. When it's no way been more important, our independence allows us to valorously probe, challenge, and expose those in power. Support The Guardian from as little as $1, it only takes a minute. However, please consider supporting us with a regular quantum each month, if you can. Thank you.